Most High Creator will bless us. Alright? So, you remember, like I said, the motto of what our very essence is love, beauty, and justice. This is all of the cosmos. It's order. That's what it is. The light means order. Alright? It's a galactic, it's universal. And I'm going to show you how much you mean to this world. You, your very existence. I don't care how you came here. I'm going to explain to you exactly why you came here. Alright? Not the reason, but I'm going to show you how much you are important. Alright? They try to break it up. They place politics, religion, economics, all these different things directly in front of you to distract you from being connected to source. Not only that, everything in nature goes back up to source in the sky. You remember, you are from the cosmos as well. Dual you are. Okay? And they try to cut that connection off because they don't have that connection. And I'm going to explain why. First, I like to say that I don't personally consider January the 1st as New Year's. Me personally, I recognize the start of a new year by spring because winter signifies death. It is the season of sleep and hibernation of life. Spring signifies rebirth, the season of awakening from that hibernation and death and sleep. Alright, so it is the birth of life. Summer and fall are in between, most importantly because nature itself is love, beauty, and justice. On a larger scale, nature, or Mother Nature, nurtures all her children and gives life, and her seasons are indicators of which seasons are best for agricultural, physical, and life matters, as well as spiritual matters. All you have to do is look up. These seasons align with stars that represents zodiacs, our zodiacs. Everything was meant to be. If you understood that, you would know that there's a Most High. There's a source higher than what we are. We are a part of that. This is deep because the day and the month you were born in means something to you and all of us as well. Okay, so these seasons align with stars that represent zodiacs, star system constellations, Orion, Sirius A and B included. And when the seasons change, the shapes of the star system constellations moves. And here on Earth, when we look up, we can see and we tell the stories on the shapes they take as they move. These heavenly bodies create an epic tale if you understand it. And what is deeper is the cosmos move at such a rapid pace than how we perceive time looking at it, okay? So it already moved past, or when we look up at it, we see the past that already happened, which is going to be our future, because as above, so below. Alright? Everything is connected. They're trying to corrupt that. They're trying to corrupt that order that it has, and it directly affects you and I. So when the seasons change, alright, it tells a story in the constellations when we look up. As our time moves, we are able to tell because the seasons are directly aligned with the constellations when it moves as well. Alright, and we perceive all these things as time. Okay? These heavenly bodies create an epic tale if you understand it. And what's deep is, like I said, the cosmos move at such a rapid pace than how we perceive time. So when we look up, we see what already happened. Alright? We see a tale already written out and mapped out from the ancient past. And it is our future also directly. That's why they stop you from looking up. Had movies that say don't look up and all these different things. As above, so below. Everything is in perfect order. When I went to Trinidad and I visited my mother and my mother's husband, right? he had a book on agriculture, and this is so deep. I was reading the book because I'm into, like, plants and nature and life and stuff like that, and regrowing things that we're destroying. So I was reading the book, and the book went into a chapter that had the zodiacs, right? The zodiac sign and stuff. And I was like, that's interesting, because what does the stars and the zodiac and stuff like that has anything to do with plants and life? This is how connected we are. The chapter had, when certain stars are aligned, certain seasons come about, which is obviously, as the stars move, our time is showing our time, like it'll turn into like winter, fall, summer, spring, different things like that. It'll show when we look up at the stars. Remember, they used to look at the stars to map. When they used to be in the ocean, the stars wouldn't lie to you. Like, they would follow certain stars, constellations, to be able to get from one continent to the other. Okay? So, based on your zodiac, it was showing you your life, like what you go through, and different sicknesses and illnesses that you might have due to the month and the date you were born. And I looked at mine, and it showed exactly what type of injuries and stuff I go through as far as on my body from time to time, like arthritis and different little things. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how is an agricultural book going into a chapter about zodiac, and depending on how the stars are aligned and the seasons, it's showing you what type of injury you have, and it showed what type of plant to grow and when to grow it for you specifically in that month of that time of the year. Like, everything was down to a T. Even the plant, even the name of the plant, what you have to plant, the month you have to plant it to make sure it grows and it yields its fruit and all that. And when you take it, it'll heal you and all that. So I was like, this book is damn near like the elixir of life. Like, it's showing you agricultural plants to heal you of certain things and what to grow. You don't need no type of hospital medicines and none of this stuff. And it shows you your zodiac, and depending on that, I was like, it was showing me everything that's happening to me in my physical life, like, and what type of plant to take to boil and drink or eat, and then I'll be healed of certain injuries and stuff for good. And for arthritis, only for that in a certain month, and how much to take. It was all boiled down to a T, to the fact where I realized that whatever entity, which I call Source, the Most High, created this world and everything else, is so perfect down to a T. The things that we think that we can't, like, it's man-made, there's no way there's a so-called God that created this, or Most High, we got to figure it out on our own. No, everything has been written already, not on paper. Even before the walls, it was written in the stars, and we can tell. This is why they raided the tombs and all these different things, and they forced certain people within these pyramids and these different things who had this ancient knowledge of the stars and the zodiacs. They forced them to learn, to teach them, their people, this knowledge, because it was wisdom. I was shocked. They showed you the plant for your month. Like, there are plants specifically for your zodiac that you take for your specific bodily, dysfunction or injury or anything that you got going on. And I was like, what? And what to plant, and why it will yield more during this time of the month than the next, and all that. So I was like, okay, so the Mother Nature, agriculture, and the plants and all that, it even ties into us personally, and it shows us the signs and the stars and the seasons of what time to do it. So the signs and the stars comes down. Mother Nature displays it with her seasons, and then agriculture and then it directly affects us and what we need to do in order to survive these certain effects. Like how does the stars know that we get these little injuries like arthritis and all this stuff? That means the wisdom is from above, as above so below. What's happening is all connected. We don't see the connection. They're cutting us off, and they use religion to scare us into knowing how connected to everything we are, to the stars, to the agriculture, to the seasons. I'm from a place where it's always hot, and then when I first seen snow and ice, I was like, yo, how do trees die and grow back? Like that shit was just so amazing to me. And it's because, you know, life, Mother Nature shows you, like right before it gets to brick cold winter, the season of death and sleep and hibernation, it shows you like, okay, you have fall. Fall shows you that it gets a little cooler, it drops the temperature, leaves fall off the tree, and it shows you gradually in time, like, okay. And if you look up, you will see the stars change. You will see the motion of the stars changing. You will see it's like a movie happening when you look up, and it's different alignments and stuff like that in the constellations. You'll be able to tell. And then it will show you within nature, like, okay, the leaves are falling off the trees. The branches are turning. The leaves are turning different color. It's getting a little cold, and then it directly affects us. We have to get warmed up and stuff. So everything is so beautiful. Like, it's a process, it's a cycle. They're trying to destroy that cycle, hence the reason why they're trying to block out the sun and make it much colder all the way around. They affect nature, they affect us. Okay, so I say that to say this. I'm going to read to you something that recently just happened, right? I was watching a video by Bill Gates, and Bill Gates had a video, and it was called New Pandemic 2025 by Bill Gates. He had on this New Pandemic by 2025, he had what was called an artificial simulation panel, all right, featuring former news media anchors, etc. It was a panel, you know, and they were discussing a fictional scenario of a future catastrophic contagion that might happen. Okay, that they had it set up where it was looking so real, but on the screen it had fictional scenario of a catastrophic contagion. All right, in it they discussed the catastrophic contagion and they called it SEERS. The acronym's SEERS, severe epidemic enterovirus respiratory syndrome. Okay, the video goes into detail on what they expected to come globally by 2025. They were expecting so much deaths by the millions. They had graphs. They showed how the new virus was going to look and how it attacked the respiratory system and the lungs and all these different things, and how it was going to have a high mortality rate, a very high mortality rate. They showed how it would look, yeah, like I said, and also where it would first start and how many people are estimated to die, and most important, when it will hit. In the video they were showing when it would hit in 2025. They were showing exactly where it was going to hit. And this was serious because you remember right before the pandemic of 2020 and 2021, he was on TED Talk and he was talking about if they are successful, who are they? And he's saying if they are successful, meaning it's good for him and they, then they should then the world's population should drop by this and this such. Okay, so these people are using their conscious logic of the corrupted mind, saying that okay, we are successful by depopulating the world by this much, so we can be able to manage the world's resources. See, we are so connected that Source already knew that this world was made to be abundant. The people that own the world don't want you to know that everything is abundant. They want you to be enslaved. to hold all the resources to their companies and their sales and their governments and their powers that be, their corporate businesses, and let you have the crumbs. This new virus will have a high mortality rate by the millions worldwide. The panel discussed that those who are lucky enough to survive being infected will be severely brain damaged, and those who survive not being infected at all will be like scavengers in an apocalypse. And this is what was said in the video. They had graphs of the impact, and it was so detailed you would think this is foreshadowing what's to come. They had a part where they were showing real footage of what people was going through during the pandemic of 2020 and 2021, and it was like they were studying us. And it's like the way he came, they're so bold now. They're not even hiding their evil. They're coming out like, yeah, but we got something better that they can't bounce back from. You know, it will be a higher mortality rate than the one previously dealt with, and those who are unfortunate to have it, when they try to recover, they're going to have brain damage from it. This is what was said, okay? But let me read to you a little part of a chapter from the book of the Committee of 300. All right, these are the powerful people who run the elite. All right, what we think is the people of the elite. They're these people that run them as well, and I'm sure it's entities higher than human beings that are in place of them, and they're powerful, you know, whatever cabal that they run. So this is from the Committee of 300. They say no city shall be larger than a predetermined number as described in the work of Calgan. Now, Calgan, I think, is a contracting consultant firm, company, and different stuff like that. So, you know, they basically have people that they basically build cities. Okay, so they build cities, and they basically can estimate how much people can be within these cities and stuff like that. So they're big money, big corporate entity, and large stuff, probably larger than what I even know, little old me. Okay, so no city shall be larger than a predetermined number described in the work of Calgan. Essential workers will be moved to other cities if the one they are in becomes overpopulated. Other non-essential workers will be chosen at random and sent to underpopulated cities to fill quotas. Now, you remember when shit hit the fan, all right? When you go to these concentration camps and different things like that, it's not like they just keep you captive in a cage and you just sit there and all that until you escape or whatever. They actually have you working. You know, you remember back in the days they had people still welding and banging and making instruments and things of, you know, tools and weapons and different things like that. You had people doing medical things. So it's like when shit hits the fan and it's like martial law comes and stuff like that, you'll be working, you'll be filling quotas, and they will have this thing as big as, like they said, a city. You'll be in a city that's dedicated to martial law. Like you would literally be in that whole city would be a camp for you, and you will be filling quarters. So they're splitting people apart. This is the plan, what they're telling you. At least 4 billion useless eaters, which is the majority of the world, they're calling useless eaters, shall be eliminated by the year 2050 by means of limited wars, organized epidemics of fatal rapid-acting diseases, and starvation. All goes hand in hand, what they're saying. All right, we give you these diseases that's coming out, you die either from that or from things being shut down, like this precursor to what's really going to happen. All right, you think Bill Gates was playing with that video? Like I said, man, that shit is crazy. So the people that survive would die of starvation because nothing would be sold, nothing would be bought, everything would just be shut down. Energy, food, and water shall be kept at subsistence levels for the non-elite. So basically, food, energy, and water would be like welfare for us. I don't know if any of you are familiar with being on welfare, but just imagine being on welfare for food, water, and energy. It would be kept there for the non-elite, which is the majority of the world, starting with the white populations of Western Europe and North America, and then spreading to other races. So the different shades of color, the darker you get, you're probably going to be asked out. The population of Canada, Western Europe, and the United States will be decimated more rapidly than any other continents until the world's population reach a manageable level of 1 billion. You remember the Georgia Guidestones got blew up a couple of months ago, a little bit over a year now, by an unknown guy, you know what I'm saying? But they destroyed it because the majority of the world are starting to pay more and more attention. Remember, this is the age of information. So we are more aware mentally of what's going on, and we know how to put it together. We have social media. This news was spread. So they destroyed their work of what's going to happen, you know. They had their plan written out for the New World Order, written in different languages in stone, and they blew it up because we're all, you know, one picture can go across the world, and then we're going to put two and two together. The majority will understand. But before that, we had YouTube and stuff. When the internet first started coming into a daily thing, they started to don't like that. So I remember years and years ago, you can actually go to the Georgia Guidestones and walk up to it and touch it and actually see it. But then when the internet came out and stuff a little bit ago in the early 2000s, what they did was they started putting things around it where you couldn't even walk up to it. You had to be a couple of feet away or whatever, and you couldn't even be next to it. Now they fully just send some random guy, so-called random guy, to blow it up with some dynamite and stuff like that. I wonder what happened to him. He probably went back to his agency. But anyway, alright, they say, so they want the world to be a manageable level of 1 billion. Now you remember, it's about 9 billion people on this earth right now. So they want it to be a manageable level of 1 billion. You remember, they lied to us. Everything is made to be abundant. If we understood the wisdom of nature and the stars and the cosmos and everything together, we would be able to, we wouldn't need them to tell us. Remember, they give us our information. The corrupted ones who control this planet and our resources, they give us our information. Do you hear the power in that? Well, we used to be able to tell anything just by looking up at the stars and seeing what it formates and feeling the weather and being in tune with nature. We can tell what's going on. It was obvious to us. Now we have to turn on a company, a media company. Like, which one do I pick? I like CNN better than Fox. I like this better than this. And it's all the same shit. So, $500 million of the 1 billion people will consist of Chinese and Japanese races, selected because they are people who have been regimented for centuries and who are accustomed to obeying authority without question. From time to time, there shall be artificial contrived food and water shortages and medical care to remind the masses that their very existence depends on the goodwill of the Committee of 300. So, you see how structured their plan is. Their order out of chaos, because chaos reigns. You have to see they work from the upside down half of the tree. So they would say things like order out of chaos, which is actually their plans of their order out of the chaos which they came. It's not the same thing. We would formulate it like that because we have a heart. We see the good, but they're working at a direct infrastructure where they're doing the reverse, all right? So you see by 2023, they saying they're already releasing in 2024 the algorithm things and all that stuff with the quantum. Okay, now they got in 2030 is when they really finally gonna have their they're gonna activate this quantum realm type of dimension that we're in. Not only that, they're saying that by 2025 they're gonna release seers, a new wave that's gonna have a higher 80 or higher percent mortality rate. All right, if you're recovering, you're gonna have permanent brain damage and all these malfunctions in your body. You know, they're coming out bold. This is from Bill Gates, okay? You have all time, and by 2050, they plan to have at least through all these things that they going on from now to 2050, it will be 1 billion people left, which 50 million shall be Japanese and Chinese descent because they have been regimented for centuries and they're used to obeying orders. This is from the Committee of 300. So just be careful out here because it's going to be a lot of things that's going on with these new pandemics and these things that's coming. It's not stopping. This is not for fear. Even if they are doing it, do you know what you do? You go within. You realize how connected you are. That's why I said in the beginning what I said. If you realize how connected and how meaningful your life is, like you came here and there was a purpose set and you realize that that connection will be there and something glorious will happen through all this chaos. And to let you just imagine through all these things that you think is happening random, but it's fucked up. But you realize you have some sort of supernatural or spiritual purpose that's higher than what you even could have imagined. And you'd be like, oh shit. You're gonna be so happy, you're gonna want somebody else to be filled with that happiness or connection to the all. You're gonna be like, oh shit, I finally found out what I'm here. And then you're gonna be really trying to connect to somebody else. That's that love that I got. Like for real, for real. May the Most High Creator will bless us. And it's a reason I said what I said at the end too.